I remember from a very early age that robots were going to take over everyone's jobs, and we weren't going to have to do manufacturing anymore. They were going to take over anything that we had to do with our hands or fingers. Robots are just going to be more better at it, and we were going to be out of work. I've been hearing that since I was a kid. Now, in certain aspects, we absolutely are seeing that. And again, the advancement in robots, they are moving along, but not at this pace that was told to us and that the hype train was all about. I think we tend to see that where there is a uh, over exaggerated view on how technology can progress. And we're seeing that with AI right now. But one of the things that we are seeing in the overall evolution of how jobs are being replaced, they're being augmented at first, and they're being replaced, has followed the following pattern. So in manufacturing, automation augmented people. Now automation is removing people from a lot of manufacturing. Automation, or so then we had on the AI side, right, which is on our next spot here, AI helped creatives, and now it is replacing creatives when it comes to like design and stuff. You know, I just bring up a copy like here is my thumbnail from yes. Right, here's the thumbnail. We're gonna get into the article here in a second. But here's the thumbnail from today's, from my for the video today. This was done on Grok. I have prompts that I use specifically for my two main characters in here. And then again, have the, our AI robot behind them there. This takes me anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes to do my thumbnails, right? And because I have an idea where I want it to look. Before, where I'd have to work with a creative, or I'd have to spend time in, Illustrator, one of those things, right? So it's gotten better and better, and so it's augmented. Next thing is it's going to completely replace creatives, to where I say I just want, like now where we're almost there. I just got to get better at prompts to have this piece next. Now we're at the point where we're dealing with entry level white collar jobs are being replaced, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And they're being augmented and being replaced. The next step is going to be management. White collar management is going to be augmented, then replaced. This is the steps. We don't know how fast it's going to happen or what it's going to look like, but this is what we're getting at. And we want to talk today about an article that we got from outside the Beltway here, that they're kind of going down that road of explaining exactly that's what's happening and that's what we're seeing. And we want to discuss that today. So again, for those that don't know, I'm a business coach, works out of West Michigan, around the country. I come live here pretty consistently every single day on YouTube, sharing just some of the information I share with my clients. That's what we're looking at today, and I hope to earn your subscription. Links to the article is going to be in the description here, so please go check that out. Outside the Beltway, the AI is taking our jobs. Yes, they are. There's stuff that folks are actively looking to replace with AI. We know. We're going to look at some examples here. But what I want everyone to take away from the article, right? Let's just lead with right in front of this. Understand it always starts with augmenting the position. Then it's overtake of the position. If you're a business owner, and this is the other side of it, understand that when you bring on AI right now, it's meant to augment a position that you may eventually be replacing. Just keep that in mind. That's that piece. All right. So machines have been eliminating blue collar jobs for decades. It's true. And then now they're coming for white collar jobs. That is also true. They can read now. Now the Atlantic's Derek Thompson points to a new sign that AI is competing with college grads. And I feel for college grads right now because they've got seasoned citizens who aren't retiring or are re-entering the workforce. I did something on the NILFs that are out there, the not in labor force folks. They're coming back into the job market now because they can't afford their retirement. So they're looking for work, right? That's happening. Then you have people who haven't been in the workforce that are finally at the point where I got to get back in to be able to afford my rent and stuff. They're coming back in against college grads who have just spent a metric billion trillion dollars on a degree that they have no experience with. And currently people are hiring experience, not degrees. And that's just what it looks like now, folks. Fair or not, that's what business owners are deciding to do. So it's a new sign here that college grads, you've got a triple whammy up against you right now. Now, according to the New York Federal Reserve, labor conditions for recent college graduates have deteriorated noticeably. That's a nice way of saying they suck. Like it's the labor conditions just suck right now. They're terrible for recent college grads. And the unemployment rate now stands at a high 5.8%. It's higher than that because there's folks who've just dropped out and just given up on trying to find work. So they're not counted. Meanwhile, law school applications are surging. It is a sign that, well, I just go to school, so that way I don't have to pay back my basically my school loans yet because I'm still in school, and they're going to go be a lawyer, which is not a good sign. Anytime we see that, that's a surge. Now he acknowledges the causes are likely multiple, which is true, which is true, including the restructuring of the economy in wake of the Great Recession. Very true. And the gradual decline of the wage benefit of college. That I cannot wait for the math to come out on this and deeper research to go. But businesses have given up on frankly, college degrees of being of any sort of importance. And colleges, that's your fault. That's your fault for not providing something that is of value to a future employer of your, and for students. And students, you guys are going through there. You don't know any better. And again, so that's our fault too. My fault as an old person. Like, it's my fault as well. But it's where we're at right now. Colleges just don't have any, the benefit in the business world just isn't there. But there's another spot here. The third theory is that relatively weak labor market for college grads could be an early sign that AI is starting to transform the economy. When you think from first principles about what generative AI can do and what jobs it can replace, it's the kind of things that young college grads have done. They read and synthesize information and data. They produce reports and presentations. As law firms leaned on AI for more paralegal work, and consulting firms realized that 22-year-olds with ChatGPT could do the work of 20 recent grads, and tech firms turned over their software programming to a handful of superstars working with AI co-pilots, the entry level for America's white-collar economy would contract. Of course it would. Of course it would. Why wouldn't it? They're more productive. You pay them, you can pay them more. You pay that individual more for that skill set and the work but they're able to produce at 5 to 10 times what a single person could. Heck yeah, go for that. Now, even if employers aren't directly substituting AI for human workers, high spending on AI infrastructure may be crowding out spending on new hires. That's also true. Now, with the employers that I work with, we value basically younger generations of folks here. So there is some decisions that we are making collectively to ensure that we are hiring people for development of those folks. But it's an issue. But we are doing that fully. Again, we're doing that with the full knowledge that we only do that after we have brought in and automated as much stuff as we can utilizing AI to make the current people we have as productive as possible. And then we're going to bring on new people to develop them to make sure we have a train of, that development train of people to be productive. So that's just from a operation sustainability standpoint. Like that's why we're doing that. But if we didn't have that mindset, we wouldn't be hiring anybody. Like, we just wouldn't. Now, the trend of analysis of something that's barely a trend, it is, however, quite plausible. And that's one of the things. It is very plausible, and in reality, it is occurring. When ChatGPT exploded onto the scene 2 years ago, it sparked a lot of angst in higher education circles, with administrators and professors alike seeing it as a vector for cheating and panicking to figure out how to make it harder to do. Since then, most of us come to embrace it as yet another tool available to students. Absolutely. One of the things that we want to get into is, I want to go back again, go check out the article here. Is really great. I want to also bring into the fact that the advent of AI agents, right? Agentic AI, to where we are setting these AIs free to make their own decisions on certain things within certain parameters, is going, we're just kind of figuring out how to code and write for this. In a year, it's going to be phenomenal. In 5 years, we're just going to have stuff happening in the background that we typically had administrative assistant, we had a bookkeeper, we had all of the things that we would typically hire out for. It's just going to be handling it. I for one, me personally, as a business consultant, the sooner I can have basically a virtual assistant that's an AI, the better for me. It's going to make me more productive and get me to spend more time helping my clients. But it's absolutely going to decimate the entry-level white-collar position world unless businesses make the decision, and this is collectively, to ensure they take on the training responsibilities for the next generation of leaders within their company. Because let's go back to the beginning here. We talked about it's augment, then replace, right? It's always augment, then replace. So we've got AIs coming on right now to augment entry level employees, but it's also replacing some of them. Middle management right now is using AI to augment their services, but it's going to replace them too at some point. What that will do in the long term is now that is killing the entire development train and the chain that you have for leadership and experience at your vice president, senior management and executive levels. That's the big concern. And so when I'm talking to business owners of all size, large, small, medium, and small, is you need to make sure, as for your due diligence, that while you are saving money with AI and you are using it to augment and replace where you need to, that you cannot move away from the human element and your responsibility to develop and train those individuals who will be coming up behind you, because their tendency is going to lean towards leaning that out to where you have at some point basically AI agents managing 85% to 90% of your work in a service. Let's say you're in a service type industry, in information, whatever it is, like that type of service, where you get sick and you aren't able to work as the boss. Now what? You don't have people underneath you that are trained. You don't have folks that are the next person up, right? And as an exit planner, this is one of the things that I worry about with business owners that I work with them on, is making sure you have a transition plan in place in case you're not around. Also, you need to be able to sell the business, hopefully. That's the other spot. We're turning this more into a one-person operation. There's less and less value to sell there because people can replicate what you do, okay? So anyways, big piece on here. Go check out the article. Link is in the description here. The big worry right now, and again, for you younger, new, freshly minted college grads that are coming out here now and in the next couple months, understand you're coming into a very, very difficult position. Very difficult. If you have the opportunity, and I would highly recommend it, take as many courses as you can, study as much as you can on how to actually use AI prompts and to develop and use those. That is where you are going to jump ahead, leaps and bounds of your, basically the competition, but also where you're going to get your value for employers to hire you in. Okay. So with that, hopefully I earned your subscription today. If you'd like to learn more about how I help businesses grow faster than ever thought possible and help business owners build valuable companies that they can sell, be sure to check out summitbusinessguides.com. Take care, and I will see you.